Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is a discussion video that's kind of spur of the moment. I don't really have any notes, I don't have anything that I'm going off of, but it's about the continuous reading discourse and what I think about it. That's really it. This isn't a guide on how the community should handle anything. This is not a groundbreaking thesis on the matter. I've made similar videos before, probably not really even going to cover new ground here, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of hearing the same things over and over and over again, especially when almost all of it can be summed up with mind your own business. You know, almost everything with reading discourse is so specific to you as a reader and what you like to do and how you like to read and what you like to read and how much you read and how you read and all of these things. They're all specific to you. Your reading hurts no one else. It helps no one else. I'm actually currently in the middle of a competitive readathon where that is not entirely the case. But even with that, there are people on every team who read a lot or who read a little, who read audiobooks or who don't. I'm someone who doesn't read audiobooks. I don't enjoy them, but that has absolutely nothing to do with someone else exclusively reading audiobooks or reading them whenever they want. So I think that a lot of people just like have this issue of their reading is the best, their way of reading is better than everyone else's, they are the best reader in the whole entire world and the rest of us should listen to them. And that's just not realistic to anybody anywhere. When it comes to reading a lot, I read a lot. I'm a fast reader. You put me in a small enough puddle, I'm the best reader there. I'm the fastest, I'm the quickest. Everyone is so impressed with me. You put me in too big of a pond, like a few hundred people on a team or booktube in general or the book community on the internet as a whole, I'm not even in the top percentile. However, when it comes to the general public, if you read 5 books a year, you read more than the average person by a lot, by a lot. So the reading community having all of these constant discourses, sometimes we have new people, like every day, I guess we have new people. And sometimes those people genuinely don't know, they've never heard this discourse before. And also some people are just the worst. They're the worst. They're not playing with good faith. They genuinely think that you should take their opinion on what you read seriously as law, as what is right and good and important when you don't even know them. You don't know them. Who cares what they think? I don't, but it seems like they think that you should. And to me, that's just a person that I don't take seriously, because if that's genuinely their belief, then like we are already so opposed that it doesn't really matter what they think. I don't care. They can act a fool on the internet all day and it doesn't affect me. I will say, I think there is a little bit of a double camp here though. It doesn't just apply to one thing, right? Because your personal reading is your personal reading. Your reading is not better or worse than anyone else's. It doesn't matter what you do with it. On the other hand, we talk a lot about how diversity is important and reading marginalized authors is important. So how can those things go hand in hand? Well, generally speaking, your reading does not affect anyone but you. But especially when you have a platform on the Bookish internet, your reading does affect other people in that the recommendations that you give them are the books that they are finding. So if you exclusively read white, cis, het, able-bodied, neurotypical authors that the Big Five is publishing, then they will continue to publish exclusively almost those authors. I think that there is always like a outcry of there's too much diversity when there's barely any, but you're so used to it being an all white, all cis, all het space that the presence of anything else is almost startling when you didn't think you were gonna get that. And you can blame the media and society for the last however long, but definitely the last 6 years, because it feels like a choice to include diversity when it shouldn't. If white supremacy wasn't at play so much, then it wouldn't be a choice, it would just be the natural order of things. But because so many marginalized authors, specifically since we're talking about books, Since so many marginalized authors are denied entry simply for their identity, then when one slips through, it's almost like, what are you doing here? For me, your reading is your reading. When it comes to reading diversely and recommending diversely and making an effort to include other people than just who has always been published, you can still not do that. You don't have to. It's just that you're not the reviewer for me if you don't. You're not the creator for me if you don't. And that's okay. We can swim in separate little puddles, never to mingle. Like, we don't have to hang out together. We don't have to watch each other's content or promote each other's content or get book recommendations from each other. But I do think that they are very different things, right? And that's why I talk a lot about reading diversely. I don't talk a lot about how you should read more, or you should read with your eyeballs more, or you should read more smut, or you should read less smut and more serious. You should read more text-based novels, or you should read more art-based novels. I don't say anything like that because all of that is personal to you and I don't care what you do. But I do say a lot that you should read diversely because it affects more than just you. Hi, it's the same day. Spot the difference. But I did think of something else that I had meant to mention and had forgotten to. And that is when it comes to canceled authors or canceled books or problematic authors or problematic books, when people are asking you not to read a book because of the harmful representation in it or the harm that that author has done to a community, I also think that that matters, right? And I think that it's interesting that people that will argue for both sides, and I wonder how much of a Venn diagram it is between people who are bothered by other people's reading in ways that they should not be, like how many books they read, but are not bothered when they are reading something that actively causes harm to someone else. Again, you can still read any canceled book, any canceled author. There's certainly no book burning or book banning happening in the online book community. Anyone that's canceled still has a devout following by someone who doesn't think they should have been canceled in the first place, right? You can still read whatever you want, but what you can't do is be upset when the people who are not okay with that harm refuse to take your book recommendations because they don't want them from someone who is an active participant in a system that causes harm. So I do wonder if we did not engage with some of these bad faith actors, if we would have quite so many people popping out of the woodwork to be like, actually, book talk is ruining reading. Actually, no one can read that much. You're lying. You know, like if we didn't engage, maybe we would see less, but I don't know that we would because, again, you have people who are engaging who are brand new and you have people bringing it up who are brand new, and there are constantly new people. The reading community is so much larger than the online reading space that there is always a chance that you're going to have people who have always been readers coming in, and you're going to have people who have always been online coming in who are just becoming readers. I will say, like, readers, we're snooty a lot of times. We're very elitist. We're very insistent that our hobby is the best hobby and it's better than their hobby, and like we're really elitist about it. And I think that comes from the history of reading not being accessible to the masses. I think that the online reading space in 2024 should be doing their best to get rid of that stigma and to be trying to get people to enjoy the books that they're reading, and hopefully get to enjoy books by people who don't look and think and act like them. I feel like this is a little bit of a mess and I might delete a bunch of this. I might delete a bunch of this. This might not see the light of day. Some of it will because I don't have time to film another video. But I know that it was like January 3rd when I saw my first thing about how have people already read so many books this year. And I was like, here we go. Here we go. 2024 is not going to be any different than any of the years that have come before it when it comes to the book community. I do think that there's something to be said for people who are just curious about the way other people read, because there are so many different ways to read. Not only a single book, but just your entire approach to reading is very based on you, your enjoyment, your schedule, your life. it's so different for everybody. And I do think that it's very interesting to see how people squeeze reading into their life, or how they maybe got away from reading for a while and came back to it, or how they are someone who, you know, in school, basically they were taught that reading was not something enjoyable because of the way that they were forced to read certain things. And now as an adult are finding out that reading for pleasure is something that they really, really enjoy. Let me know your thoughts. Honestly, I'm not gonna keep going. I got nothing, I'm starving. I will say being in this competitive readathon has been interesting to see everyone's different approaches and takes and what is new to them or what they were already familiar with. It's been fun. But even in a competitive based readathon, your reading is in competition with no one but yourself. So I don't know, I just wish more people understood that DNFing a book doesn't mean that you hate the book. It doesn't mean that you hate the author. Reading 7 books in a day doesn't mean that you have no idea what you read. Reading 2 books a month is not something that anyone who reads more than you is shaming you for. And that's another thing. Slow readers shame fast readers, and fast readers don't shame slow readers. Maybe they do in middle school, maybe, I don't know. But I have never, in all of the discourse online, seen anyone talking about how slow readers should read more. They should just watch less TV. They should just not have a job. They should just not have kids, because those are things that people like to throw at fast readers. Like, don't you have a job? Well, I actually absorb what I'm reading. Like, people are the worst always to prove that they are better than you when nobody asked. It's not a competition. We weren't trying to be better than each other. And you just kind of look like a jerk a little bit. So, you know, I just wish people understood that they can do anything they want with their own reading and no one else actually has a say. You can do literally anything. It's a whole world of possibilities out there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.